please understand what I'm about to tell you, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all. But if you are going to go see Independence Day and you like 90s films, you're going to have a good time. Now, you're probably wondering why I started my review that way, a little bit different. By the way, this is Movie Critic Rob here with the Movie Channel, and if you haven't guessed it, we are reviewing Independence Day Resurgence, which just came out today. I actually went to go see it yesterday. And before we get started, this is a non-spoiler review. If you clicked on this link, you saw in the description, in the title, that this is a non-spoiler review. So let me just get that out of the way. We're not talking spoilers at all in this review, but we are talking about Independence Day Resurgence. Believe it or not, the original Independence Day, I had not seen completely, or at least I don't remember seeing in its complete form. I saw scenes here and there as I, grew up, but I never really took the time to watch the movie. And my cousin was like, well, since the movie's coming out, you might as well go and buy it. I found it on GoHastings.com. It's a really good movie website, really cheap, and their shipping is absolutely tremendous price. I always get good deals there, so go check it out, GoHastings.com. But I found it on there. I bought a couple other movies too, like The Patriot and Now You See Me, the extended edition. But I popped this in, Independence Day, and I know it's a 90s film, and I loved it. It was absolutely great. Independence Day, the original I'm talking about, was absolutely great. So I'm thinking, ooh, I wonder if the second one is going to recapture this, because there's a lot of movies that came out in the 90s, good movies. And I'm talking about movies before you had the luxury of really depending on the big spectacle, the shiny filmmaking that we have today, where everything looks pretty. You can do everything you want with the camera. Back then, you really had to rely on story. That's not to say that there aren't movies today that have good story, but there was something homey and something special about good 90s films like Independence Day and like Jurassic Park, for example, which just is not there today. Something is missing. And I was wondering, when I was getting ready to watch Resurgence, does it recapture that 90s vibe of filmmaking, which I believe has been lost? And I think that because Roland Emmerich was returning for Resurgence, I thought, man, this movie maybe has a chance. And I can honestly say, watching this movie, from the beginning of the movie all the way to the very end, you are watching a good 90s film in 2016. And it is amazing. For those of you that grew up in the 90s that know what I'm talking about, that grew up on movies. Now, I was born after Jurassic Park came out, but I grew up on Jurassic Park. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Independence Day. Those great movies, those summer blockbusters before summer blockbuster became a throwaway word. That is what Independence Day Resurgence is. It's a good old 90s blockbuster. And you should go check it out. Is it cheesy? Absolutely. But it's cheesy in the best way. And I feel, having watched Resurgence, my feeling is that if Steven Spielberg had 22 years later done what Roland Emmerich did with Resurgence, with Jurassic World, meaning come back as the original director and directed the next installment 20 years later, I feel that Jurassic World would have been a lot better. That's not to say that Colin Trevorrow did a bad job, but there is just something special about having the original director who had the original vision, who had the original, just everything so perfectly there in its 90s epicness that I believe was lost. Now, did Trevor do a good job? Absolutely. That's all I'm going to say about Jurassic World and Jurassic Park. I'm just saying that to compare, because Roland Emmerich, what he was able to do was recapture that magic that was there in the original film. And I like how everything was dealt with, even though, yes, Will Smith is not there. And that's not a spoiler. Everywhere in the trailers it's been there, as well as in the publicity. If you read anything, you know that Will Smith is not in Resurgence, and he's not. He is not there, okay? But what they were able to do was, I think every actor from the original is there, even the kids. And I'm not sure if the kid that was the son of Will Smith is in the movie as, the kid who played him in the original Independence Day is back to play him again. I don't know that for a fact, but if it's true, that's amazing. Because everybody else is back. Bill Pullman is back. What's his name in the movie? I know him as Ian Malcolm, you know who I'm talking about. Jeff Goldblum is back. And Jeff Goldblum, let me just talk about Jeff Goldblum. The guy has been acting for years, and he has not missed a step. He has this naturalistic way of acting. And I know everybody's parodied it, but it's real. That's how real people talk. People don't just go a long stretch of time without going yes, but that's how real people talk, okay? And I love the way he just reacts to everything. I love his monotone. He has some of the best comedic chops I've ever seen in an actor. The dude has got it, and he's still got it, and I can't wait to see him in Thor 3. By the way, he is in Thor 3. I cannot wait to see him enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I want him back in a Jurassic Park film because he's that good. That being said, outside of Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman is back. Brent Spiner, I believe is his name, who plays the scientist with the long hair. He's back. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's back, and it makes sense, and everything, it plays well. And one of the things that I love about this movie, and I'm not going to go into spoilers at all, I promise you that, and I always keep the promises I make for you guys. I want you guys to enjoy it. But there is you think the movie's going to end, and then something happens, and it's like, oh my gosh. And there were times in this movie that I'm thinking, okay, the Earth is going to die. The Earth is literally going to die, because they would fake you out so many times with these solutions that they would come up with. And then it was like, no, by the way, no, that solution doesn't work. So, oh my gosh, you're still in peril. Oh my gosh, you're still going to die. And you don't know while you're watching this movie, are they going to live or are they going to die? Are the aliens, have they come back to finally kill the human race? It was a thrill ride. This is what cinema is about. It's taking you on a ride while you're sitting in a theater with a bunch of people around you with your popcorn and your soda, sitting there, and I'm like a little kid watching this movie. It was just a thrill ride. It was an experience. And yet, is it Oscar worthy? Absolutely not. Because the Oscars would never nominate a movie like this. That being said, it is absolutely fantastic because, for me at least, it reminded me of a bygone era of cinema, which is all but gone, minus a few flickers of hope here and there. And this was definitely one that I felt was just experiential. It was something that went beyond cinema, that was just a step above what we have been accustomed to seeing for years now. And it takes a break, and it doesn't take itself seriously all the time, so that the comedic moments, when they're there, they're genuine, they land, the action is there, the suspense, oh my gosh, it's there. Everything that could have gone wrong with this movie. I could start listing off things that go wrong with a movie after it's been, like years or decades after the original came out. But it recaptures what the original was and does it, I think, personally, in a better way. Everything, there's hints to the original, but not to the point where it's so on the nose that you can't enjoy it and you're like, oh, look, they're trying to cash in on Independence Day. It felt organic. It felt good, and I was so happy watching this movie. And when the credits rolled, I'm sitting there, and the first thing that came to my mind is that was a 90s film. And those of you that grew up in the 90s, that grew up with the 90s movies, know exactly what I'm talking about. Those good, they made you feel good about going into the cinema. They made you feel good about going to see the summer films because you know that you were going in to an experience. This is like what you felt for those of you that remember when you went to go see a Spielberg movie growing up, like back in the day when like Spielberg was at the top of his game. That's the feeling that I got while watching this movie. Every actor does an excellent job. Liam Hemsworth is in this movie, and at first, because you think they're bringing in new actors and new actresses that are, that are of today, and you're like, oh no, this is going to turn into another Expendables 3 where they're trying to cater to the younger audience, and it wasn't like that at all. They felt that they were integral to the plot, that they fit in to the goings on, and it made sense for why they were there. And everybody got a moment or two in the movie that was perfect for their character. I mean, yes, you're following Jeff Goldblum, and he is the one that gets the most screen time and gets the most moments. But outside of Jeff Goldblum, everybody gets a good one or two moments that remind you of the past, but not in a way that it takes away from what you're watching. Everything, like I said, oh my gosh, everything in this movie was so good. And I know a lot of people are going to give it negative reviews. I know a lot of people that are going to just destroy this film. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just don't see it because for me, like I said, when I got out of this movie, I turned to my cousin I went to go see it with, and I told him that was a 90s film. That was a good 90s film. And I loved it. I would recommend it. Please go see it. I have not seen The Shallows yet. That's the only other movie I think out this week, which I do want to go see, but I really wanted to go see Independence Day just because I'd seen all the trailers and I liked what I saw. And, there is always that fear of, oh no, it's going to be another cash grab. Why? But I think having the original team there was a reason why everything happened, and there's a reason why it makes sense to have a sequel. Even though, the original feels closed. It feels like a complete story. But I like what they did here, and I think it was good movie making. Good 90s movie making. I don't really know what else to say. Go see this movie. I am looking forward to going to see The Shallows at some point, either by the weekend, tomorrow, or Monday at some point next week. And I will do a review for that because I'm looking forward to that. But go see Independence Day. Look, I go like with everything. Form your own opinion. I know that you're watching me, and I mean, I am going to give you my opinion. And so will everybody else that's reviewing. And I love all the reviewers to death that I watch. And you know what I watch because it's on a little stack on the right. But with everything, especially like with movies, for example, because we're talking about in the movie context, you should form your own opinion. You should listen to the critics and try and form your own opinion. Look, there are movies that I've hated and that I wanted to give a chance, and I've talked ad nauseum about Batman v Superman. Everything I heard was negative, but I went into the movie, and if you were with me that day, I was excited. I mean, come on, it's Batman and Superman on the screen for the first time. How can you not get hyped for that? And I gave it a chance. I was so angry by the time I left the movie, but even still now, with the Ultimate Cut, I'm willing to give it a second chance because I heard, from what I hear, this is a definite improvement, and like 95% of the problems in the original are going to get solved. But I said all that to say this. Was it a bad movie? Yes. Did people tell me that it was a bad movie? Yes. And I do heed the warnings that people give, but I also think that I have my own opinions, and because of that, I want to go see it for myself, and I want to just figure out what I think of the movie, and I would ask you to do the same. A lot of critics, like I said, are going to pan Independence Day Resurgence left and right, and they're going to throw it in the gutter. But I would strongly suggest that you go and watch it yourself and form your own opinion, as with everything else. I'm really looking forward to this year and everything else this year has to offer. The BFG is coming out, which is a Spielberg movie, and hopefully a return to form of what he's known for. I mean, he's teaming up with Disney, for crying out loud. Suicide Squad, oh my gosh, I cannot be more excited for Suicide Squad. Doctor Strange, so many good movies out this year, and I know there's more that I haven't listed. I just listed those 3 off the top of my head. The Legend of Tarzan looks amazing. I'm going to go see it the day it comes out. Next week is The Purge, and I'm really fallen in love with the series, even though, yes, I mean, you take it for what it is, and yes, it's ham, and it's cheese, and all it's, but it's good. I like it. And a lot of people are like, oh, you like sequels and remakes, and all. I'm like, yeah, because it's something to watch. And I go in with an open mind that I don't look at, oh, this is going to stink. I know it's going to stink. And that just taints the movie experience. If I go to watch a movie because I don't get paid to watch movies, I don't get paid to review movies, I do it because I want to. I'm going to watch movies. And I don't watch every movie that comes out. I watch movies that I want to watch. And I want to enjoy movies when I go see them. Have I had bad moments in movie theaters where the movie that I watched was awful? Absolutely. But I go in with an open mind because I want to enjoy myself because I paid the full ticket price. I will be a good movie viewer. I will sit quietly. I will laugh when I need to laugh. I might laugh a little uproariously. That's just me. But I will enjoy the movie. I will make sure that you enjoy the movie. And when I sit down and do my review, I'll give you my opinion, but I will tell you, go and form your own. Use mine and just to get a feel, but go and watch it. Go and form your own opinion. And I'm telling you, with Independence Day, I know a lot of people are panning it. Go and watch it yourself. You will not regret it, especially if you grew up the same time I did and you were a 90s baby or an 80s baby that was still in their teenage years growing up and you saw this movie and movies like it. That being said, this is MovieCriticRob here with the Movie Channel, and I'm signing off.